We've kind of arrived at this moment. It's, I don't know. Maybe we've written this moment into the long, strange trip, where nothing seems to fit the shape of logic anymore, and certainly not in the minds of my players or their characters. And the confusion is almost overwhelming. They've been denied their divinity, not my players, the characters, especially Dr. Kennedy and Joel. The truth remains hidden from both of them, and that hinders their progress through this life. They each yearn for something they probably still don't understand. Now I get to bring you guys into morning in Vermont. The sun comes up. Breakfast is had. I don't know what the conversation of the morning is. I wish we would have that conversation, but we could probably fill an entire 2-hour session with that conversation over waffles and bacon. I'm positive would be there. A yearning, and I base this on some things that I have overheard in conversations that you guys have had and questions that you've answered for me in the last few episodes. To go back to the city. You haven't been there yet this entire series, having woke up at the Bergen, gotten out of the Bergen through hell to get only to a dream house that nobody can enjoy. So on this particular morning, at some point, Harvey will say, hey, we've got rides coming, and seems to be packing or preparing to go. And then eventually, after another, an hour or so, the cars arrive. There's 2 town cars. They're not really limos. They're like as close to limos as you can get without throwing any stretch into them, doing any of those sort of really crazy modifications. The other 2, eager to get back, are ahead of you 2. And in the car with a quick goodbye. Hey, we'll see you when we get there. You guys can take it how you will as far as the social aspect of those 2 jumping in the car, leaving you 2 alone. But there is nobody else. The other 3 swept away with Yoko Sakai in that last battle that happened in the middle of the night before. Or maybe even it's a day after, if you guys wanted an extra day, perhaps, for your characters. I think that's workable, but sometime within 24 hours after that, and those 3 being gone, and then the drastic death that you've both suffered, I would see by that point, getting back to home base is probably on what everybody wants to do. Your car is outside. Is there anything that you wanted to do here at the Vermont Dream House, as I have it in my notes?
I mean, I'm just hanging out, kneeled down, kind of squatted in front of where we buried Sasha. Not saying anything, just taking one last kind of moment for the homies.
And I'm kind of doing the same thing on my way out the front door of the Vermont Dream House. Just kind of touch the frame of the door and just whisper like a little farewell, Sasha. And I'll walk down the steps of the porch and look out at the car and then over to where Joel is. And I'll call out, Miss Watson, we should probably go.
You see just big sigh of the shoulders before she stands up. Then you can see the nod of the big floofy blonde hair. And then she starts walking towards the car, opens up one of the doors, slides in.
Oh, well, the driver gets out to open the door for you.
I would go around the car and open up the other side and get in. I would not do that.
Well, they would be waiting. It's a rather tall, I want to say woman, physique of a woman, dressed in a woman's suit coat. But there is underneath her aviators, and she's wearing the limo hat the driver's hat. She's a pro. Harvey got the best. Actually, his agent did. But is a Tom Selleck thick mustache. You don't see the eyes. The eyes are behind the mirrored sunglasses. They don't say anything, but they do open up the door for you.
Yeah, I still go around the other side and open up the other door and climb in.
I accept the opened door with gusto.
I had doors. We leave the Vermont Dream House, and away we go. I'm gonna change some scenes here. There is just enough space that is the only modification that they've done in this is it's very roomy in the back seat, and there is a sliding partition. It's just moments after you guys get to driving down the road, the window rolled down, and hey, y'all don't mind if I play some classical music? You guys like classical music, right? Oh, I didn't think you'd mind at all. All right, well, that's all. If you need anything at all, feel free. There's probably some booze or something back there. If you're thirsty, maybe something to snack on. I'll leave you alone.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah, awesome. What the fuck does Harvey think he's doing? This is ridiculous.
This seems excessive, even for Mr. Winston.
How far is it back to Manhattan? How long are we gonna have to do this?
5 hours, roughly. 4 to 5. It depends on how fast they drive.
Is it like Harvey Winston fast? Because that would be great.
I don't think this car has quite the same oomph that his Ferrari does.
This is upsetting.
At least it's comfortable.
She said booze, and Joel just starts rummaging around, like looking for the booze, looking for snacks. She's going through compartments.
That sounds like a move.
Yes. You just see Joel's big floppy blonde hair. Do I find anything?
You have to use your reason as you dig around in the car, right? Looking through flaps and boxes.
Right.
Knowing where those things are. That's how that all works, I think.
Yeah, it's a 13.
Yeah. So how thorough are you digging?
I mean, like, I'm scoping out the place at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, I don't totally trust these random ass drivers that Harvey hired with his fancy money. So, is there anything weird about what I'm investigating?
Probably a cool thing is underneath where the passenger's seat would be, the passenger's front seat would be, is a little pull-out cubby with a bottle of brown booze and a bottle of clear booze.
Oh, dope. I want that shit.
And a couple of rocks glasses.
Joel just holds up both bottles and just makes a big smile.
Excellent. I'll have the brown.
Please don't ever say that ever again, Ernie. Just hands you the brown bottle of booze, whatever it may be. And Joel sits back. She doesn't bother to grab glasses. They just have the bottles. And just leans back into the chair, like puts her hand behind her head, got the bottle between her legs, and just relaxes. Or tries to.
Here's how I'm going to take your moment of enjoyment away is because you've had dealings with like supernatural higher powers, that sort of stuff in the past several times, right? Weren't you under the suspicion that the demons or things or whatever they are that murdered your parents are still alive or something to that effect?
I mean, yeah, they were supposed to be. We captured one.
So you're driving straight into that, right?
Kind of.
Well, an internal conflict that I am placing into your soul is that there is a whole bunch of really heavy shit. You guys kind of had a little vacation at the Bergen. I mean, it was kind of creepy and there was weird stuff that was going on in Blythe's bloodbath, but other than that, it wasn't that bad. I mean, from my point of view. Carry on.
You see Joel drinking out of the bottle, and then she loses her shit-eating grin, looks back out the window, suddenly looks pretty serious. She doesn't say anything. But Ernie would notice the big shift in the energy in the car.
I wonder if Harvey and Blythe will be able to help each other at all on this trip.
Like what? Like heal wounds that only time can heal, or some stuff like that?
I mean, I'd prefer to avoid such grandiose terminology, but yes, more or less, something needs to be done to bring Harvey out of this.
Yeah, I know.
If anyone can do it, it would be Blythe.
Yeah, it would.
After everything we did to try to get her back in the first place. Maybe they just need some time together.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably for the best. But Ernie, are we making the right choice here?
Going back? It's a step forward rather than a lateral move.
I mean, it's just like every time. It's like what good has really came out of Manhattan, you know? My parents are dead. Sasha's dead now. We got into all the shit show, lost Blythe. Got shoved into a Bergen mental institution. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it would have been safer to stay where we were. Or go someplace new. I don't know. Or shit, I don't know. Go back to that thing at the barn, you know, the tail.
I think that we will eventually, and I think that was the entire point, but that doesn't help us at the moment, I suppose.
Oh. Well, I still rolled an 8, so...
Oh, wow.
Failed pretty hard on that.
Yeah, that's gonna lose 2 stability. And of all of the things Joel wants to do, wants to fix, wants to save, whatever your goal is, Joel's personal goal, back in Manhattan, who is the key person that revolves around besides yourself, unless it's completely about you.
No, that's not really how I work. Probably Sasha or Harvey, but mostly Sasha.
You're going back to try to find Sasha.
Mm. I need him. I need him. He keeps me level-headed.
You have a memory of Sasha, and it is a memory that is also flooded with the sound of another voice that you do not recognize. Some gross, sort of like he's too much phlegm or something in his mouth, difficult to breathe, perhaps, sort of voice, not pleasant. The voice is talking to you while you see this memory, and you remember this happening. You feel it. You remember what it felt like when it happened. She's going to have a panic attack looking moment for just a second, Dr. Kennedy, as she watches herself with both hands shove Sasha from a rooftop in Manhattan, probably 15, 16 stories up, probably Sasha's apartment building would be my guess. That's the rooftop they hung out on. The voice that's talking to you is telling you, I told you every time you try this, it'll fail. You lose 2 stability.
Oh, Joel is just kind of a mess, thrashing around.
The confusing emotion with the shove, because I know there's not an evil bone in your body, is that you needed to do this, and it was unfortunate, but you had to kill Sasha in this moment for whatever the purpose was. It wasn't out of anything other than that.
So Ernie sees a hyperventilating Joel, blonde hair flashing everywhere, and her just mumbling, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, over and over again.
Miss Watson, what are you seeing?
I didn't mean to. I had to, Ernie, you have to understand that. I don't know. I didn't mean to, Sasha. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Is it even real?
She can't hear you at this point. She's just in her own little world.
What do you think it might be, Dr. Kennedy? I love saying that.
Another vision. We've all been having them. Could be real, could be planted, could be any number of things. And that's the problem with my research, is that I can never really use it to determine what is or is not real. And it makes me feel helpless.
What does Dr. Kennedy know what he's looking for when he thinks of, I don't know, evidence or proof of what is real? Would that be something physical? Right? Given your experience, what sort of things are you looking for to determine whether you are sitting in a real Lincoln Town car or still slobbering on a cot at the Bergen?
It's obviously the first inclination is towards the sensory Whether it smells, tastes, feels real or not. But so often these have been misrepresented in these visions in the past, so even sensory details can't really be used as physical evidence any longer. It makes things frustrating.
Roll me a keep it together. Because you used the word frustrating.
Ernie, that's better than a 9.
It is slightly better than a 9.
It's good. And frustrated is a good enough definition. You've already explained how you feel. Go ahead and take the stability. If you smell here in this car to try to see if there's something odd, you can smell perfume. We'll say jasmine.
That's not bad.
The seats are not leather. They look a lot like leather, but they're not. The feel of them is not, but it feels like it's pleather. Genuine, artificial leather. There's nothing really I could tell you to taste unless you wanted to give Joel a kiss, I suppose.
No.
Looking outside, you're still in Vermont, this sort of hilly pastury. There's a little less trees here than where you were. The sun seems higher up, maybe, than your watch says you've only been driving for an hour. The sun looks like getting close to noon. Should only be like, and the cars picked you up early, like 8. So there's that. Other than that, everything seems relatively normal, except Joel, who is kind of coming around now as far as reality and being aware of things. Are you needing the driver to stop? Well, premonition, I suppose, as the window. Are you okay back there, sweetheart? You want to stop and you need to stop? Powder your nose, something?
Yes. Just find a dirt road. It's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Dirt road. Will do.
Are you feeling a bit more yourself, Miss Watson?
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
What was it?
And you see her squirming in the seat quite a bit. She will not look at you. And you can tell she's really trying to keep it together with her emotions.
It's fine.
Ernie, I saw me and Sasha on his rooftop. The rooftop that we always hung out on when he was taking care of me, making sure I was fed at least. And then I just shoved him off.
Do you recall your reasoning behind it?
Just felt like it was something I had to do. I had to push him off there. I don't know why. I don't know why everything in my life has to revolve around fucking people falling off of shit from high places, but okay.
Well, it's a common phobia.
Ernie, can I ask you something? Were my parents like good people? You know, back in the day when they were doing the experiments and stuff? Or were they like mindless zombies who didn't really care what happened to the people they were working on?
They always had a stronger ethical backing than I did, but in our line of work, in the field that we study, you don't make advancements unless you get your hands at least a little dirty.
You know, I wonder sometimes if my parents, you know, if we still lived back in the days where like things like heaven made sense and hell was just a fairy tale that they tell kids to keep them in line. That if mom and dad could see me now, what they would, what they would think.
That you'd taken much farther steps in their research. They'd probably be very proud of you, actually.
You think so?
Yes. I know that they loved you. They missed many of our intellectual gatherings because they wanted to stay home with you. They missed out on lots of collaborative opportunities as a result. It would have furthered their research 10, 15 years.
Do you ever want kids, Ernie?
The thought of it crossed my mind when I was younger. Never really worked out.
So yeah, he's literally pulled off the highway onto a farm road. There's a field on one side completely exposed, and then there's a field on the other side, but there's a row of trees that separates you along the fence line. You know what those country roads are like. You've driven around Kansas a little bit.
Just a little. Joel kind of just looks at Ernie. Can't really bring herself to give a full smile. It's kind of a half smirk, and then pats his shoulder, and then climbs out and kind of starts walking into the ditch, into the field, headed kind of towards the trees.
Come back quick. We need to get moving. The others will have left us behind.
Oh, you're not coming with me on this epic adventure? To
I'd
go take a
rather
minute?
not watch you urinate in the bushes. No.
I'm not going to take a leak. I'm getting some fresh air, asshole. She just flips him off and starts walking.
There's a barbed wire fence that runs through the trees. Kind of difficult to see from the road because of the brush and shit.
Can I get over the barbed wire fence?
Act under pressure.
I want to hop that shit.
Because it's not going to be quite as easy. There's a lot of like brambles and dead stuff.
Let's see if I eat
Old
shit on some barbed wire.
That has never been cut back.
That's a 16. So apparently it's not that difficult.
You have no issues.
Just pop right over it. You just watch Joel just kind of find one of the posts and just put a hand on it and whoop, whoop, right over.
Not bad for city girl.
Well, I spent a lot of time in the forest. Omnipotent man. And just start walking towards the tree. Are the trees like over a mile away, or like how big are we talking this field is? Or how close to the edge of the field are they?
Yeah, it's just like a single line of trees that they've used to kind of mask the fence line. But once you get through that, there's only, a 5 or 6 yards of field grass, and then there's cornfield. I don't know, whatever they grow in Vermont. Somebody's going to tell me something crazy, but we're going to say corn or wheat or, the trees are just like they are here. You're in farmland, so they're like mile square segments that typically outline farm roads or in between fields, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of clouds. It looks like there's perhaps a storm that might be coming. It's not sunny here.
Joel just kind of leans her head back and just kind of soaks in the sun for a second.
I just said it's not sunny here.
Right, but like the little sliver of it.
Oh,
it's like coming through the clouds.
The ironic sun, yes.
Yes. and just kind of chills for a second. And then she sighs and kind of looks around some more. She's got a weird sense of like foreboding on the back burner of her head. This can't, shit's been going too good here for a little bit. We got a big fancy dream house, escaped past a lot of big boo-boos. So when is shit gonna go wrong?
Have you ever been to Vermont before?
No.
It feels unusually cold for July.
I've got a flannel tied around my waist. Just untie it, put it on. I just kind of take one last look around. If things are looking somewhat normal, then I'll just hop the fence and head back to the car.
You feel like the clouds are watching you.
Yeah, don't like that. I'm just booking it back into the car then. Not frantically. There's no like panic in the way she's walking, but if Ernie was to make eye contact, he can see the look of like, this is not good on her face.
Right.
That was fast.
Okay.
Ernie? And she glances up at the little privacy window. Is it still down?
No, it's up.
Oh, okay, good. Ernie, I think there's something wrong. I mean, like, I know there's normally something wrong, but I feel like there's really something off about this.
So, a thought has been occurring to me recently, and I've been attempting to put it down on paper, but I haven't really gotten a chance to yet. We're like soap bubbles. We alter reality around ourselves when we move through it, because reality, of course, isn't real. Everything is the illusion.
Uh-huh.
It's just going to happen. We're going to see things that are strange. Reality's going to seem like it's warping into something unnatural, because it is. And that's just going to happen around us from now on.
So basically, you're telling me I'm paranoid?
You're not considered paranoid if something is actually out to get you.
Wow, that was really comforting, Ernie. Thanks.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh, God. Ernie, will there ever be a day that you just don't take life so seriously? And
Unlikely, Miss Watson.
So scientifically all the time?
Yes, unlikely.
Like, were you, I don't know, like, ever married?
No.
Believed in a thing called love?
It's more of a chemical imbalance, I think.
Roll for me now. A repressed memory. Luckily, it's repressed because I really want to force you
Chris.
just to tell me a story.
It's probably gonna be bad though, because that right there's a 6.
But I'm going to pose the same question just because I have a couple of variants, and in order to hone them in, I'm curious to what your focus is going to be when you get back to Manhattan. What do you aim to achieve? Are you just hoping to get back to your brownstone and finally close the door and they're gone, like it's been a big long Christmas vacation and the relatives have left and you can get back to doing the Dr. Kennedy stuff? Or have you changed enough that something else is now what you want to do?
Well, all I know is that eventually one of the versions of me, whether from this universe or a different one, is going to end up in that place at that time. So there's no point in stopping what I'm doing now.
What are you doing now?
Continuing my research towards actual unlocking of divinity, finding out what the truth actually is, dismantling the illusion if possible, or if it seems like something that's reasonable to do, There's no end to the things that Dr. K wants to complete.
Nerd.
I'm not completely convinced. Did Sasha's death have anything... Does that death have anything to do with this drive?
All loss is drive.
I don't have the memories then to describe, but in this conversation with Joel and using the words that you have, sometimes, like speaking as a father, when I give advice to my son, I think about the terrible time some bloke punched me in the eye, and so I'm telling him this situation, here's what you do to not possibly get punched in the eye in some circumstances. Your flash of loss is cumulative. This is another sort of internal conflict that I'm going to throw you in, and that is you owe for a whole lot of souls, Dr. Kennedy. And in this moment, as you are passing on this advice, you are reminded of just how many lives you've had to take when Joel just needed to shove one from the roof. How simple that would be. It's a little more painful than that. It's all of them, many that you don't remember. And you feel things now for people.
You know what the worst part about this illusory world that we live in is? And I don't know how many of the people that I've sacrificed in my research were real. Or if they were all real. Or if none of them were real.
Are you telling me that there's nobody that you would have feelings for? Any sort of connection at all? You wouldn't feel any loss for any of those people?
I feel loss for all of them. There's nothing I can do about it now. I just have to be better moving forward, if that's even possible.
How do you plan on going forward? What's your next experiment going to be like?
Depends entirely on what Harvey's like when we get back to the city. The future of my research relies almost entirely on that little cube he brought back.
You have to pee.
I think this spiced rum has run its course. And is it like an intercom to the front? Do I roll the window down myself? How do I...
You just knock on it.
This is CULT, baby. As soon as the thought crosses your mind, the music stops. The window opens, and the Tom Selleck with boobs turns their head towards the back in the glass. It's the first time you've ever seen them take their eyes off the road before they let you in the car the first time, and says, "Y'all like titty bars, don't you?"
Did you just say, Ernie? Did they just say titty bars?
I do believe they did.
Like strip clubs?
That would be my guess.
Am I even old enough to get into a strip club?
You've got to be at least 25 now.
So yeah, he pulls like in right away to a rather large kind of place. There's several cars here. There's no town around. You haven't even passed a town that you remember yet. This is out in the middle, like hours in the middle of nowhere. Although it does seem maybe odd to you as you're looking through these tinted windows outside that there is such a large crowd. And when you get out of the car, it all makes sense because it's nighttime outside. The stars are high. And you pulled into the White Rabbit, which is this sort of, looks kind of like a ripoff of Jessica Rabbit neon sign. Woman's body, rabbit's head, very, big boobs, big lips, big butt. Not much else.
Ernie, I don't think we're in Vermont anymore.
I'd say we've been driving for at least 12 hours somehow.
Fuck. You think Blythe and Harvey are okay?
I sure hope so.
Are we? So are we doing this? Are we going into a titty bar?
Well, I have to urinate, so I'd rather not do it in the bushes like you wanted to earlier.
You could have went when I went for a walk. God damn it, Ernie!
Need to go then.
Of course you didn't. Oh, freaking course you didn't. And Joel started getting out. Do I have a pistol still on me? I'm like patting jeans, patting boot.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Let like find it, pat it, and then you just see like a look of relief.
Yeah.
And then
as you're going, if you're walking up, nobody's in line to get into the strip club. There's some guys and some girls that are like hanging out, and some other guys that are hanging out, just kind of hanging out outside. The girls look like they're, I don't know, maybe propositioning them. They're very flirtatious. I don't know how you react to that sort of stuff. In my head, I'm already kind of like scared by. Like, I just want to go inside or something. I don't know what you guys are doing. Yeah, so there's no line. You can go walk straight in.
oh, Joel is very uncomfortable. She does not know what she's doing here. How to navigate. Just kind of stalls out by the car and tries not to look uncomfortable, but finds her pistol in the back of her jeans, and then as Ernie like waddles. Ernie waddles to go pee. Joel's like, oh God.
That's what I was getting to, but the brain fog took a hold of me. The guys that are hanging out with the girls, there are several of them that have guns hanging from their hips in holsters, like cowboys.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Not cop holsters, just Texan holsters.
Vermont,
cowboy holsters. Well, they got cowboys in Vermont too, I think. Do they have cowboys in Vermont?
Yep.
I don't know.
If you don't know, leave them. Tell us below in the comments. That's for the YouTubers later.
So, Ernie, are you leading this shindig? Because my ass is not walking up in there first.
Miss Watson, get a blindfold or cover your eyes if you're that demure.
It's like bringing your dad to a party with you or some shit. She just like sucks like right in behind you like a nervous kid.
You could also just stay in the car. I'll be 5 minutes.
With the boob mustached lady man person? No, thank you.
Whatever. Fine.
All right. Let's get in, pee, and then just go. Let's just go. Is that fair?
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
Jesus, okay.
Hey, both of you roll act under pressure, since we have a plan, as you walk in to the White Rabbit.
We don't ever really have a plan if we ever stuck to an actual plan.
Dr. K is sticking to that plan with an 18.
I got a 13, so I'm kind of sticking to that plan.
It is crowded and very difficult to get through. It is almost like the Wild West. There are girls that go from a guy's lap and jump up on the stage and do dances, and then we'll go down and grab some other guy and take him into the back, assuming you were to watch one dancer that length of time. But there's several in here, almost more dancers than patrons, but there's a lot of patrons. men and
Where that bathroom?
women. You see it, Dr. Kennedy. It's on the other side. The women's restroom is there. You can see this, Joel. You can't see this yet. He's going to have to lead you through the crowd. It's through the thickest part of the crowd. And the women's restroom looks to have some yellow tape across the door.
Like as in out of order, or as in
As in
Dr. Kennedy's going to have to lead
police
you through the
crime
crowd. We'll let you
scene,
guys.
do not enter.
fuck.
You'll have to determine that when you get there.
Oh no.
And you don't know
Joel
that
just
yet,
has one.
'cause
Joel has one hand though. In this big crowd, she's not comfortable. She's got one hand on the small of her back on her pistol. She doesn't trust this shit. She's freaking out. She's never been to a titty bar before, and now she's in here with fucking Ernie of all people. Feels like doing something scandalous with your dad, and it's weird.
So you bump your way through the crowd.
Oh, Ernie, women's
get-
bathroom. That way.
You get groped.
Oh, fuck no.
Like
Who
your
did
butt,
it?
Like grabbed your butt.
Who fucking did it? Do I see who did it?
Roll.
I observed. Okay, it's 13.
13. And your question was, who did that?
Who the fuck just touched me?
Yes. Now I want you to roll to see through the illusion.
I don't know. Seeing through the illusion. Sometimes scary stuff happens.
And just we're into those
Oh, fuck!
yellow
dear.
card safety areas too. Just to let everybody know, I'm trying to be better at the safety stuff. I should have called it out before I said the butt grab. When you turn around to find out who the fuck did that, it's not the same place, Joel. There's still the crowd. They're all around you, but they are pale, or some of them are made up. They're all not normal people. They're humans. Some of them have wounds, slices, cuts, some fresh. Some of them are missing an ear. When you look there's two guys dancing close to you, and one of them is actually, while they're doing their very sort of intimate dance, is actually slicing his partner's ear off at the same time, and they're both doing it as if it's something to enjoy.
Oh, fuck.
What do you do?
Panic for half a second. Try to keep it together. That kind of freaks me out a little bit. I'm already uncomfortable. That just made me even worse. I spin back around to kind of grab Ernie's like coat and sleeve, or his jacket or his shirt sleeve, and just kind of like a kid, just grab onto it.
You can do that.
And Ernie, you just get like snagged really hard. And just like a Ernie.
Yes, Miss Watson.
Do you really have to pee in here? Can we go pee someplace else, please?
This is where they stopped. I assume this is where we have to be for the time being.
Ernie, there's bad shit already here. Like really bad shit. Like people slicing each other. Bad shit.
Don't talk about it, and maybe they won't notice that you've noticed.
One of them winks at you.
Oh fuck, Ernie, just get me to the bathroom. Just get me to the freaking women's bathroom, and I'm gonna go in there. And then when you're done, you're gonna come knock on the door, and then we're gonna leave, and then everything's gonna be fine because we don't have anybody here to help us. It's just you and me. And no offense, Ernie, you're not the best in a fight.
None taken. It's absolutely true.
Okay.
You get to the bathroom. Dr. Kennedy, are you interested in seeing what she's seen, or are you really just trying to like tune it out because you don't want to go there?
Because he's gonna pee.
I mean, if peeing on one of them makes them go away, then I'll do that. But I've got business to take care of otherwise.
Sweet. You're the Dr. Kennedy I remember. It is indeed police tape, or it looks like probably what is the Halloween knockoff police tape, or maybe the stuff you get at the Home Depot. The yellow caution sort of thing. It's not the official, but it is, and they've got it. It looks like it's been used several times. So like it's the yellow stuff, but it's got like Scotch tape and some pieces of duct tape. And then it looks like maybe some gaff tape or something that's stuck on there too. Several different bits that's over it. It is slightly ajar. There's light on the inside, and it does seem as though there might be somebody in there because you can kind of see a shadow move on the ground. The men's room is right next door. It's open. Door opens. Some guy comes out. Dr. Kennedy looks like just some guy with a grin on his face, like he's going to see his favorite stripper. Joel, you see the same guy in shape and size, but he looks more like he's been using heroin and meth about every 15, 20 minutes on the street while not losing any weight, and has just pleasured himself. Like he comes out drooling and like, and when he will, it's like a Silence of the Lambs kind of almost moment. And he just sort of gives you like this look like, you're cute. And then he just walks off.
Joel just kind of stands there and blinks after him for a second and then looks at Ernie with just big brown eyes just staring at you like, can we please get out of here? I'm so uncomfortable and I don't know what to do.
It'll be 2 minutes. And I go in the bathroom.
As soon as
and take care of my business.
As soon as Ernie is gone, Joel just goes into the bathroom trying to find a stall to hide in.
The men's room?
No, into the women's room.
You bust through the tape and go in the door?
Yeah, I just want to hide in the stall for a second.
Have either one of you seen Train Spotting?
I think I know where you're going with this.
Oh, I don't. I'm scared. Oh, no.
The toilet, it appears as though they gave up on the toilets at some point in the not too distant past. Just became an overwhelming task to try to keep them clean because nobody was actually getting it all in the toilet. And there is a woman in the bathroom when you go in, Joel. There's not a stall in either one of these bathrooms. There's 2 toilets in the ladies' bathroom that are like 3 feet apart, but there's no stalls. There's no barriers. In the men's room, there's a trough urinal, my favorite, especially at crowded events.
Oh, the trough urinal.
And this is a kind of a crowded event. Lots of guys drinking beer and girls. The girls are going in there too. Probably in the 2 minutes that you're in there, Dr. Kennedy, a girl would likely come in and use the trough. Joel, the woman that's in there is 1 woman below the waist, 2 women above the waist, and it is fixing itself, the other half of itself, with a syringe and drugs. and sort of looks at you like you didn't see the fucking tape on the door, man.
Just looking for a place that's quiet. Sorry, I'll be gone in just a little bit.
As soon as you're out of sight, you can hear him start talking to the Jesus fucking Christ. Some people, I swear to God, I know they're just rude. It's just fucking rude. Trying to do something, man. Trying to get a fix, right? Like not get bothered for like 5 fucking seconds.
Was looking for the same thing. Just sorry. Just slip back out the door and just wait by the door for Ernie with my back up against the wall so I can see everybody.
Do you need to keep it together?
No, I'm okay. Just a little weirded out.
All right.
Just want Ernie to get his ass out here.
Dr. Kennedy,
Stupid.
before Dr. Kennedy comes out, a woman comes out and looks at you. She smiles. Goes back to the crowd. I'm curious about your experience, Dr. Kennedy. How would you react? Let's backtrack with you for just a second. You're standing there taking care of business. And this woman comes in, a 5, drops trowel, lifts up her skirt, squats, kind of has to hike up and kind of aim her ass a little bit over this trough thing. We're still in the yellow card territory, everybody, just so you know. And peas, practiced, good aim. She's got technique. Did you say anything? You just like a letter to it. I'm just curious.
No, like in my head, I'm just like impressive.
Nice. Yeah. So Joel, you come out. The woman comes out, and then Dr. Kennedy follows. Just enough time to wash his hands. There is a sink. There's a sink in both of them. If Joel wanted to take the time to wash your hands, he could. But
Nope,
Yeah, Ernie is definitely washing his hands. There's no way that I'm touching any surface in this building without washing my hands as soon as humanly possible.
I consider the GM not offering up a place to wash your hands as almost red card violence.
Joel just like looks at Ernie, and I'm assuming Ernie's like looking around the room like, oh wow, this is nice. Like people, wow, great.
I'm just looking for that exit.
Oh God, thank God. Because Joel is like got your arm now at this point and is like squeezing on it, like, lead us to the fucking door. Lead us to you can hear her mumbling it too. Lead us to the fucking door. I swear to God.
Yeah. When
We're
you go
going, Miss Watson. We're going.
and
What
there
a
you go.
wonderful establishment you located for us. 5 stars. Well done.
Are we gonna add like Joel, you just hear Joel like still just Ernie's little tag along, just lean over to him and go, are we gonna ask how it's suddenly nighttime and this was only supposed to be like a 5-hour drive?
I don't think there's much point, honestly.
Or where Harvey and Blythe are? Or...
You are going to get us to the city soon, yes?
Oh, yeah, we're almost there. Took us almost no time at all.
Yes, no time at all.
Oh my God.
Now,
And then Joel, wait,
it didn't feel like it took all day, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Joel's gonna go hunting for snacks in the back seat, which inevitably will lead back to the bad drawer. And this time she's a little more on edge, so she will look under the seat.
Coming into Manhattan, you can see after a bit your conversation, the lights of the city off in the horizon. Joel's digging for the food because even if you see the city lights, you know you're still a fucking hour away, right, from actually getting to your home, maybe even longer than that. And You find the chips, right? There's a little snack packs of the chips and stuff. But that was only after, and they're next to what happened here. But when you reached under the seat, there is a battery-operated sawzall, is what I call it. What is that? A reciprocating saw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blade, like about this, one of those jagged, sort of, a saw blade. And it's not, it wasn't on. It is battery operated, but when the blade was pointing out, right? And so you nicked your hand, cut your finger on that, and it hurt like smarts. I'm not going to give you a wound. Just one of those ones, like fucking A, and just bleeding. Yeah. And then when you pull it out, you realize, Jesus Christ, there's a saw back here. So yes, you and Dr. Kennedy, you now have that saw. I'll let you discuss it for a minute.
Yeah, you just see Joel like pull back. She's like, "Motherfucker! God damn it! Son of a bitch!"
What happened, Miss Watson?
And then she looks up at the privacy window. Is it up? Please tell me it's up.
It's up.
Oh, okay, good. And she like shows Ernie like, look at my boo boo, like shoves it in his face almost. And she's like, "There's a motherfucking saw underneath the seat, Ernie."
That's a saw.
Yeah, like the saw, like saw, like I'm gonna cut down a tree like a fucking lumberjack kind of saw.
Lean over and look under the seat. Oh, a reciprocating saw. That's very strange.
Why the fuck is there a saw under the seat? What is that for?
Hacking away body parts would be my guess.
Okay, that was fair. I walked into that one. I feel like we should really just walk. Like, we can walk an hour into town, right? Like, it's fine.
No. I have absolutely no intention of doing that.
Oh, so you'd rather get hacked up to pieces by the crazy driver person?
I mean, the only way that they would get access to the saw is if we gave it to them, or if we were already out of the vehicle. So I feel like we're fine either way.
I don't trust this shit. Maybe we should just shoot the driver and just take the car.
That seems unwise.
Why? Easy. Just bang bang, throw the body out, keep going.
Izzy just exploded all over my face. Joel, it gassed you open pretty good, and it's bleeding pretty good. How do you handle that? Are you the type of person that like messes it, or are you like hiding it away?
I'm the person that does not give a fuck. It's just like, it's just there. This is my hand now.
Right.
Just kind of doesn't care where the blood goes. Just kind of, it's now there.
So I'm sure that there is a first aid kit in the back of a limo, or a semi, limo town car, yeah, whatever it is.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sure there's a first aid kit, so I'll get into the kit and help her bandage up her hand.
But Joel's still sitting there kind of being like, we just like bang bang and then just take the car. This was the problem. Just toss
Listen,
the body
once
out.
we arrive at our destination, feel free, but then you'll have to explain to Harvey's agent or whomever set this up for us that they'll need to cover the burial costs and body disposal costs of getting rid of two of their probably best drivers.
Ernie, you were the one just telling me that if anything's real, blah blah blah. Fucked up shit happens all the time. It's probably a Kraken monster anyways. Just pop it in the head,
yes,
shove it out,
absolutely,
let's go.
but taxes are still a thing.
Taxes are still... I haven't paid... Apparently not. I haven't paid taxes, asshole. She's just ranting at this point, trying to win an argument.
Well, you
bleeding
guys,
everywhere.
Yeah, well, you guys are having your little argument, and we'll muffle the sounds, the sound of Joel's voice, and Dr. Kennedy working on the fist, but on the finger with the bandage, and all the attention's up here. But the camera watches the blood that runs down Joel's arm. You know, she's up, but it sort of zooms in on this blood and watches it as it drips from her elbow down to the carpet on the floorboard of this car, and it just sucks into the floor and disappears.
That's
And
fucked up.
we fade out.
That's fucked up. The car. It's like Monster House. It just ate my blood.
I guess it's that time. We say good night, sweet dreams, and we love you. You guys
Good
Good night,
night,
sweet
sweet
dreams. We
dreams, and we
love
love
you.
you.
let's see.
Oh, that